In the mid-'80s, Andre Harrell launched a powerhouse of a record label called Uptown. His most successful act at the time was Heavy D and the Boys. He had other acts like Finesse and Synquis, Brothers Black, and Groovy Chill.
I always loved them. They were so dope to me. I'd laugh thinking about the times, how crazy they was. They were so outgoing, it would blow your mind because they just comical. I love them to death.
As far as the Uptown crew, you know, the opportunities was there, and you know, for me and the Brothers Black, I wanted to do production, and I stayed learning his drum machine, running back and forth at Eddie's house, and doing things of that nature. I know Groovy Chill, I think, got into acting classes and got some acting going on. I think they even considered or was doing vocal lessons.
Yeah, and then just the extension of Uptown Records, you know, because I'm down when I first heard Uptown's Kicking It.
That's right.
Then I hear Uptown's Kicking It, and that was my introduction also to Hev. Then you go from Hev to Mr. Big Stuff, and watching Groovy Chill. Like, those were times where I was like, I'm influenced.
Chill always, you know, like I said, he was always a rapper in the neighborhood, you know, local rapper. Did parties, you know, Bilal was the DJ.
Chill used to be on the street rapping, Rakim, you know, we used to watch them in school on Straight Path, and, you know, Chill wanted in on every battle, so he used to enter the cypher rapping, doing this thing.
Groovy Chill was a fun, happy bunch of brothers, man. That's the vibe I got from them, and that's the vibe I get from them now.
What happened was, you know, we all, like I said, we started hanging out, and then, you know, Chill actually was the one that brought me all the way in, because me and him had our own personal fun relationship together, because me and him used to like to hang out and go to parties when everybody else was doing their own thing.
But, you know, we just was out there. You know, Chill was out there. Groove was actually doing his own thing with Rock Squad and his crew, you know, so it was like separate, but at the same time I had like a relationship with Chill, Groove, and B. B was just like the whole connection through all the music.
Right.
You know, we used to go to Bilal house. That was the original house party house.
Right.
His house was like Madison Square Garden back in the days.
The singing, the harmonizing, they was totally different. The dancing, they did a lot of things that became popular later on. Groovy Chill, in some ways, was innovators in certain things, man. You know what I mean? They had a lot. They tried to incorporate everything. Not even nice rap, the DJing, and the dancing. You know what I'm saying? It was a full act.
The journey of Groovy Chill is unique. Where most artists had to struggle for a deal, theirs came by way of fate and connection. Within a couple of days of Andre Harrell receiving their demo, they were signed to one of the most iconic black labels to date. But their stories start back at home on Strong Island.
Groove had came out the Wine Dance Day. And, you know, that Wine Dance Park, you know, that was my park. Because I was chili dog. Everybody loved me. I ride to every party. And it got to, you know when you hot in the hood, when everybody coming up to you, tell you, yo, say that rhyme you say about your brother. Yo, say that rhyme you say about your mans. Yo, say that rhyme when you talk about breakdancing. Like, they selected my rhymes because they know them and they want to hear them again.
Yeah, I heard Dow rap. Dow got busy. He was rocking the park, but you know that's his hometown. So you know it was kind, and it wasn't like a battle thing. But you know when you got the hometown rapper and somebody from outside, but he gave me my respect, I gave him his respect, and then we actually went back and forth together.
So we got to the park. I'm in there ripping and rocking. So now listen, anybody can come in Wine Dance Park and rock. You better be ready. Cause if you ain't ready, you gonna have a little situation. Because you ain't getting out there easy. It ain't gonna happen. You got to lay it down. Groove came in Wine Dance Park, sat back, chilled. He was smart. He paid attention to the situation. He was like, all right, I see. So instead of going against me, he went with me. And it was like, yo, his vibe, his flavor, it was butter. I was like, yo, this dude can get down.
And we were like, yo, this is all right. You know, we
You coming from at that point? What part of Long Island you was repping?
Brentwood.
Okay.
And he was from the dance, the 11798, and even though it's close, but when you like to say when you rapping, it's you just can't go in somebody's hometown and try to rock.
And it was like, yo. And at that point, we didn't even talk about being a crew or nothing like that because he already had a situation. But he had to come out and work it out, and he came in, got his work in. So what happened is now that's when he went to Bilal about being his DJ.
Groove came to Wine Dance Day where I was playing. He came to me and he said, listen, I need a DJ. You nice. How about coming with us? With the Rock Squad. I'm like, who's us? Now, mind you, I remembered Groove because me and Rakim was at another party, and Rakim laid the 7 MCs on the line on his crew in Brentwood. That's a fact. And I remembered Groove from back then because they came all downstairs like they was going to do something. And boom, 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 and he went right back upstairs when he did the 7 MCs in the line.
You had a lot of good MCs. I said, well, I'm good too. So I went out there, and I remember seeing a brother, DJ Bilal. And this kid was just incredible on the, oh my God, his cuts was just sick. Matter of fact, I would say that's about the best DJ I've seen ever, and I've seen a lot of good DJs.
So when Bilal started, DJing and doing his thing, getting his little skills on, that's when me and him started popping, because we were just moving around, and he had, Bilal was like a loner, you know what I mean? He just sat quietly in the cut, honing his skills.
I met Groove. He was right at the end of working with doing the Rock Squad thing. That was him and Smitty D and Jerry J. He was still carrying on the Rock Squad name. He was still using it. So
Bilal, he was more of a serious person. He was more into music. DJing was his thing. So even at some of the parties, he wouldn't really hang out afterwards. He was still focused on making that music.
So one day Bilal came to me with a proposition. Well, not that point. He told me what he was propositioned about. And I'm like, what happened? He was like, yo, man, Groove from a group called Rock Squad came to me. And I said, what's up? He said, yo, well, they DJ. It's not with him no more. And he just wanted to know, could I get down with him? And I was like, yo, bro. He was like, yo, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to rock with Groove. And then if we get rocking, I'm going to pull you in.
We just came out with a record called Facts of Life. We want Tommy Boy. I'm like, Tommy Boy? For real? Okay, you don't say nothing else. And I heard the record. It was a different type of record. Not one of my favorite records, but it was a different type of record. And what happened was they broke up.
Maybe a week later, we met. I came to his house and I said, listen, I want to do this thing. I did this record, Rock Squad. They don't want to do it anymore. We gonna do Rock Squad, the new Rock Squad, and we're going to get busy. We're going to do a record. And I was going to include Jerry J, because Smitty D didn't want to get down. So what ended up happening was, I remember Jerry said he didn't want to do it anymore. Bilal brought in Daryl, Chill Mitchell, and said, hey, and I remember the dude with the hat.
So then after that, things had happened, and one of his group members left. So he asked Bilal, he said, yo, you think Chill will come down and get down with us?
So after a while, so here I am with Groove, with just me and him. And it was like, yo, what we doing? We gotta, And he's like, yo, it's just me and you. And I'm like, can't be just me and you. How about you put Chill in?
With the group. So Bilal was like, yo, I asked him. So, when he came to me, it was a no-brainer. I'm like, yo, he already got a deal. He on Tommy Boy. He rocking. He got a group. And I haven't seen him spit, so I know he can rock. I'm like, yo, let's get together. Let's work it out and see what happens.
Eugene Groove Allen, Bilal, DJ Bilal Miller, and Daryl Chill Mitchell came together for the love of music. At the time, Long Island, better known as Strong Island, had heavyweights like Rakim, EPMD, De La Soul, and Public Enemy dominating the hip-hop charts and the airwaves. They soon found themselves with a life-changing opportunity. This is the untold story of Groovy Chill. Groovy Chill's opportunity or big break came from a friend of theirs by the name of Nate Tinsley, who happened to work with some producers that were working with Andre Harrell during the early stages of Uptown Records. Andre Harrell was looking for one additional group to add to his Uptown Records crew.
And we went into the studio with Nate Tinsley, a great producer from Long Island, my man Nate.
You know, Nate was, I never saw Nate actually in the business part of it because I was always with Chill. And Nate was pretty much, him and Bilal was like behind the scenes just putting things together.
Right.
And I guess whatever relationship they had, they just made it work.
You know, Bilal knew Nate, and he had, instruments, and he had equipment, and he made music. And I met him. I was like, wow, this guy, he did like almost everything. And it only made sense, like, hey, we need to start utilizing you to make the demos that we wanted to make.
He had all the beats. I think he might have had, he didn't have a crazy amount of equipment, but he had enough to do what he needed to do, and everybody went to him.
We was in the studio, we was laying it down with my man, how can I forget Nate Tinsley?
And he was working on a project with Andre Harrell called Uptown's Kicking It, a compilation of new artists that's coming out on a new label called Uptown Records.
That deal basically happened with Groovy Chill. I was working with two guys that Freddie Fox hooked me up with. Freddie Fox hooked me up with these guys, Ulti Press Productions, Yuli Synquis and Tony Synquis. Two Spanish guys out in Queens, man, real cool. Maybe I was about 15 or 16 years old. He introduced me to these guys, and we was working on projects previous to that, all sorts of things. They had their own label, and they caught a production deal with Andre Harrell.
Nate, in a word, at that time, was boy genius. Kid, did nothing but stay in his room, stay in his basement, and play music.
He was working. And we got up and we got in the studio and we was working, and Andre came in the studio and Andre heard the songs.
We did a demo called Dragon Breath. You got dragon breath. You got dragon breath. Okay, cool. He loved it when he heard it. He went nuts. He was like, who is these guys and where can we sign them? Because he needed one more group to finish the deal.
Trey was like, yo, who's that group? And it was like, this guy was like, Ulysses, he was like, yo, man, that's Groovy Chill from Long Island. He was like, yo, I want to meet them. He said, yo, I'm about to put together a compilation album for MCA, and I need one more group.
See, back then, you could just give somebody a demo and they listen to it for real because they like, wow, okay, let's sign it. It wasn't no, you gotta go through this and all these different hoops or hula hoops. No, it's if you heard it, you would sign it.
One day I'm over there, Andre Harrell's on the phone with them. He puts him on the phone and says, yo, Nate, listen, Andre wants to talk to you about something. I'm like, talk to me about what? He liked the work you did with the bass games and this. He's, hey, Nate, he's on there, yo, you got somebody dope, man, dope? Yeah, I need a dope group, man. He had a slot open for his Uptown Kicking It project. And I said, yeah, I was working with a lot of guys then, all over. Everybody that was in Long Island, they was somewhere, they was coming to my spot.
And basically everybody around the way has come to Nate to do work. And we was one of those groups.
Give him the tape, and that was it. I didn't hear nothing for a couple of days, and then next thing you know, Tony Eulis said, yo, man, he said, that's it. So he called up, yo, that's it, Nate, that was it.
He basically just gave Andre our demo.
Sing, rap, dance, and act. That was our thing. So when we sat in front of Andre, we were dancing in this small little space and rapping, and he was smiling, and I told him the story about, listen, you were the first dude I heard rapping. And and that's why I'm here now, to have you here watching me, and hopefully, and I said, hopefully you sign me. That's incredible. He said, well, you know what? I like your energy. I like how y'all dance and rap. I don't have anybody like that. you know what? Boom, you're signed. We were floored.
And say, yo, these guys are the truth. You need to sign them. And he signed us.
The only dilemma for the three was finding a new name that would be catchy enough to stick.
That's when we formulate the group. We start rocking. We trying to figure out a name because at that time, everybody didn't go with their real name. You ain't gonna go with Drake. You ain't gonna be, you're not gonna go with your real name. You gotta come up with an alias. So we trying to figure out what can we do or who can we be.
We were trying to put names together, and we couldn't think. We didn't want anything to be corny, and so it was like, okay, why don't we take our names and kind of flip it? So one said, all right, B Chill Groove, and nah. Another one said, B Groove Chill, nah.
Groove said, yo, how about Chill be Groove? Because he didn't want to be first. And we was like, that sounds stupid, man. Chill be Groove. What the hell is Chill be Groove? You mean Groove be Chill? Just put your name first, man. It sounds cool like that. So that's how we became Groovy Chill.
Hip hop was becoming mainstream, and I wanted to put it with R&B. So anything or any artist that had an attitude and a style that kind of fit my ghetto fabulous hip hop soul kind of thinking.
So you had this taste of fame, like, it was just enough to get your mouth watering to say, yo, I want this. Because it wasn't just the fact that, people did see him. They'd be like, oh, Dr. Jekyll, Dr. Jekyll. But it was the fact that around the industry, he had respect around the industry because people was just like, yo, they knew he knew what he was doing. And evidently, he had to know when he landed that deal with MCA. So people started taking him serious. So you watching him move through the game, because he already moved through the game. He's moving through the same players, but he's moving as a businessman now with the respect of Dr. Jekyll. So it was just like like I said, you had a taste of that fame and you're like, yo, all right, I want that. I don't care where we move, through New York, California, Midwest, his name rung bells. And it was just like, okay, I got to get that. And he wasn't arrogant with it.
As fate would have it, Groovy Chill was signed with the hottest label out, Uptown Records. They would spend the next few months working on songs in the studio and submitting them to Andre because their deal was after the compilation album, whoever popped would eventually release an album or a single. But the group grew frustrated because of the lack of feedback and attention they would get from Andre.
Andre's feeling at that point, he was trying to develop and he was looking for who was going to have the first single off that album. And honestly, by the time we dropped the Uptown Kicking It video and all that other stuff, the album was already done. And he already knew that Mr. Big Stuff was going to be the album that leads, the single that's going to lead the way. But his concentration was strictly Heavy D and making sure Heavy D was a success. That was his energy and that was his time. He was in Heavy D. And that's what he wanted to make sure that he drove Heavy D through that door. And that was, that he had a solid foot in that music industry. He was telling us that, keep working on our craft and, keep bringing in demos and stuff like that. Setting the range of some of us over producers. But, and due to some of that time, that always happens. Some people felt they was forgotten about. You know what I mean? Because everything was pushed on every day.
He wasn't thinking about us like that. His mind was always over there.
Right. So how did y'all get past that? As artists on the Uptown, how did y'all get past that?
I just dropped it.
After Uptown, you was just done with the music industry?
I was just done. I was like burnt out a little bit. Like,
right.
Please, this is not even it.
At the end of the day, they put a lot of money in Heavy D, which, that was his man.
It was hard for Andre to find a direction for the group. He always said it. You guys are good. but I don't know what to do with y'all.
After that, we were shelved. And what happened was, our real break came, because we was trying to like create our sound, and we had to go back to work after making a record. You know, back then you made a record, everybody thought you was rich. We weren't rich, we all had jobs. And we was trying to, find our sound with Nate, and go back to Uptown. It's like, how you like this? How you like this? And it just wasn't clicking. So Reggie and Warrington, which are the Hudlin brothers, really liked us a lot. It was like they did the video for Uptown's Kicking, and they did Heavy D's video. And they loved us a lot. And it was like, yo, man, y'all we want to do something with y'all. We just don't know what. Because they were stuck too. Everybody was just stuck with us because they didn't know what we was doing.
Here we are, rocking our heart out, trying to make these records on Uptown, doing it. And who we run it to? Reggie and Warrington Hudlin. Boom. The next thing you know, now they inking out this movie. They inking out a movie. I'll never forget Reggie coming to us and saying, yo, you know what? We had Risky Business. We had Weird Science. He said, I don't think it's been a good young black movie since Cooley High. He said, I got an idea for a movie, man. I want to sit down with y'all.
Groovy Chill, I met, again, I had made a bunch of short films, and I was showing 2 of my short films at the Newark Film Festival. And one of the people in attendance that night was Andre Harrell. And Andre introduced himself. He explained that he had just signed this big deal with MCA for his own label, Uptown Records, and that we were going to make movies together.
Andre, he was famous. He was famous, but at the same time, he was a businessman. So now you work with a guy who already been down the road of where we trying to go. And at the same time, he's nurturing these artists.
Andre, me and him was funny. We had a really good relationship back then because I looked at him as being, Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. So we all was in awe of him because he was at the time, well, before he had Uptown, he was, in a group, a very known group in hip hop. So whatever he said, we would do. We was like, yo, we'll go. Come on, let's go. We'll go. We making money, baby. We gonna try to make that money with him. So,
and I didn't know if he was gonna make any movies, but I figured he had a budget for music videos. So we said, okay, let's just start with music videos because that felt real to me. So we agreed. So he had a compilation album where he featured, each track was a different act on his label. So we ended up doing 2 videos, the first 2 videos from the album. One was Heavy D and the Boys, Mr. Big Stuff.
Rough and tough and all that stuff. I make you dance and prance till you huff and puff. There's just no way you can get enough of me. Yo, Mr. Big Stuff.
And the other was Uptown's Kicking It.
Uptown is kicking it. The rock secret finesse and the homeboys go in. Everything I'm all about, don't forget fresh up see. Y'all want to see Groovy Chill. Y'all want to see Groovy Chill. We're gonna chill. Cause where we're headed now, up, never, never down. Down. Where we're headed now, up, never, never down. Down. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Featured all the groups on the album. So, by the way, we did both videos for $50,000, which was more money we had ever seen. Oh my God, $50,000, 2 videos. We're rich.
I was a road manager when I was working for Rush, as well as being an artist. I took LL Cool J out to do a show in New Jersey when he had this on my radio. And when he got out there, he had screaming girl fans like New Edition, and he was singing about my radio. I was already singing about Rolexes and Bentleys. My album was called Champagne and Rap. Right. If I got to break it down and start singing about boomboxes, it's time for me to step to the back and push these other young guys forward.
And by 1986, you start Uptown.
I started Uptown. My first artist was Heavy D and the Boys.
We rode around probably about a year before he really got it really moving. I was there at the very beginning. I heard most of everybody's demos from Woody Rock, to Finesse and Synquis, things of that nature. And who else? Groovy Chill, Everything the Boys. And I was there from the beginning. As he found the groups, he found the producers. The producers was Tony and Ulysses, Synquis. They called themselves OT Fresh Productions. They was out of Queens.
Oh, when I started Uptown Records, I had already been a rapper, and we were like a Harlem rap group. So I studied, like I used to go to Pro Rucker, and I would study the attitude. So their attitude was ghetto fabulous. And I was like, now imagine if you can have all these trimmings and you were legal. Like the Hustlers used to have the teams back then when we go to Pro Rucker. It'd be Smokey the Freak. It would be Tito, Nicky Barnes' nephew. And they would come with jewelry and Benzes, and they have an attitude like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And I would say to myself, imagine if you could do that legal. What kind of attitude would that look like? And so when I got in the music business, first thing I did was try to do that attitude on.
My relationship with him was more like I always listened to what he said because he always had a philosophy behind stuff. He would go, like for instance, he would go, Bilal, the reason why I'm doing this is because we're gonna change the face of R&B and hip hop music for young people, and I want young black men and women to be just that. And he would be intense with it. And he'd be like, yo, I only want groups that show a good image in black history. And if you notice, all the groups that came through Uptown had a certain image. Heavy D, clean. Groovy Chill, clean. Father MC, clean. Mary J. Blige, maybe a little ghetto, but clean. Jodeci, clean. Everybody was clean. You know what I'm saying? So it was like he wanted you, he took the ideas of Motown and Russell and meshed it in. And he was, if you didn't have an image or if you wasn't looking right, he couldn't have that. It used to like just drive him nuts, you can tell. Even with production, everything had to be tight, it had to be clean. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of, I won't say infighting, but competition between the groups to get Andre's attention. Because we knew what he wanted, you know what I'm saying? Because he would have that talk. I mean, a lot of times he would just talk to us. Like, yeah, like we'll be at ASCAP somewhere and he'd be like, yeah, guys, don't think you made it yet. Because we getting ready to do this, we got to do that. He was always on our backs, and that, at that time, we needed that. He was like our mentor. He was like a mentor to us. Like I guess you could say a father, a second father, because with a lot of groups, when you sign those type of artists, that many artists at one time, you need somebody to do this because everybody's infighting, everybody jockeying for position.
So when we went to rehearse the Uptown's Kickin' It song, we had a rehearsal space. I don't know where we were, way out in maybe Queens, I don't know where we were. And when we got there, there was only one group there, and they were early, and that was Groovy Chill. We're like, wow, they're the guys who show up early.
And it was just like, it was overwhelming because he knew, being an artist, how he had to play us. Like, I gotta let them in, be easy with them, and make them feel like part of his success. He made us feel famous through him.
After Andre was like, oh, baby, we get ready to make some money. We ready to go. If anybody know Andre, they know like, hey, baby. That's how he is.
Groovy Chill felt they had a style or sound that could not be denied. They were hoping that Andre Harrell saw the same. Due to the success of Heavy D and the Boys, their hopes of dropping a single will fall to the wayside. So the group redirected their energy into an actor's workshop where the course of their career would bring them face to face with the Hudlin brothers.
It was always a building process with us. Always putting the work in. And that's where we kept building and stacking, building and stacking. And that's why I tell people all the time, man, is like, don't limit yourself. Understand opportunities come in many ways. Because here we are, rocking our heart out, trying to make these records on Uptown, doing it. And who we run it to? Reggie and Warrington Hudlin. Boom.
They were instrumental. They did the first video, Uptown's Kicking It. Warrington and Reginald. And there were these two intellectual, very urban connected brothers who just really needed a break, needed a chance. Dre knew them and met them and gave them a chance, so we did Uptown's Kicking It. We shot it in Queens.
When we went to rehearse the Uptown's Kicking It song, we had a rehearsal space, I don't know where we were, way out in maybe Queens, I don't know where we were. And when we got there, there was only one group there, and they were early.
The call was for 7. We being business people, my crew, we got there at 5. Because 1, we didn't want to be late. 2, we wanted to make sure that we showed them we're about our business.
And that was Groovy Chill. We're like, wow, they're the guys who show up early. So we had a chance, we started talking with them.
And Reggie was like, yo, I want to talk to you. I got an idea for a movie called House Party.
They're funny, they're charming, they're incredible dancers.
Reggie and Warrington, which are the Hudlin brothers, really liked us a lot. It was like they did the video for Uptown's Kicking and they did Heavy D's video.
And they was asking us, what do y'all do? Well, we're rappers, we rap. And we told them, how we came to that park. We used to do a lot of house parties.
He said, yo, I want to know what y'all do, when y'all do these parties with it. And that was me and Bilal thing. That's what we do. We do parties.
I thought these guys were superstars. I just thought, I believe in these guys. I think they're fantastic. So, as we shoot the videos, but as I'm thinking that I'm going to write this house party script on spec, meaning I didn't have a studio attached at the time, but I just wanted to write it and be prepared if such an opportunity would occur. I started thinking about it with them in mind as the stars.
Andre put us with them. It was us, Finesse and Synquis, and Heavy D. And he put us in the Black Filmmakers Organization. At the time, they was over it. And we was learning how to act. Because he wanted all his groups to be able to do interviews, act, know how to, how to perform. He was a molder. Uptown Records molded people like Motown, like Barry Gordy.
As time went on, Groovy Chill would work with Reginald Hudlin in developing some of the ideas for the movie House Party by giving the Hudlin brothers first accounts of some of the parties and standout stories that the guys encountered while on Long Island.
They said, wow, that's interesting because we're working on this idea about house parties, but we need to get some more info. So it's cool, They ended up, calling us maybe after we did the Uptown's Kicking It video, and we would meet them uptown, we'd meet them in Manhattan, and we would just talk about all the things that we did in the house party. From packing the truck, to driving to the place, to setting up, whether it's a wet basement, a bad basement, to turning the red light on, the dancing slow, all kind of crazy stuff.
All of a sudden, we started doing that. We started acting out our old party days down in my basement or at my man's house or whoever's house on Long Island, and we started telling stories with doing improvs. And it was like, do that again?
We had a lot of rehearsals with the cast, and when I rehearse, particularly when you're making a comedy, it's not just about stick to the script. It's like, look, you guys are in the moment, say it in your own words. If you got a joke, throw a joke in. If the joke's funny, it'll stay. If the joke's not funny, we ain't using it.
Yo, man, if you bump the table one more time, it's gonna be me and you. And here come Chill. Boom. Because it's always that one dude that bumps the table at a party.
And, you know, they wrote this down. We met them continuously, maybe six months to a year.
Messing you up while you know, so those kind of improvs. Like we'll be, you know, well, let's tell us how MCs, you know, rap and where the DJs at. And we just started doing a lot of stuff with them. I would tell my story, Chill would tell his story, Groove would tell his story. You know, one of my stories is my man Mike Mitchell left me, told me he was gonna come back. Didn't come back to 2 hours before I had to do a party. I was late. He comes back with 2 girls in the car. Told me, hurry up, and I got all my equipment outside, and I'm mad as all hell, like, yo, are you crazy?
What's up, B? We gotta get going. We don't have no time to waste. We gotta step.
Who's that in the car?
How do you lift this thing?
Who's that in the car, Play?
Oh, that's a honey. No, I know what you're thinking. That ain't for you, but there'll be a whole lot more there for you.
Look. Play, we got a lot of equipment, and we can't fit it and 3 other people up in that little ass car.
Shh. Your problem is you don't know how to load things scientifically.
No, leave it. You tear my shit. No, don't. Shit, what the? Just leave it alone. No, don't. Hey, Play, leave it alone. Just leave it. I'll do it. Leave it alone. Hey,
There it is.
I'm late 2 hours. And we didn't have cell phones back then, so you late and nobody know where you at, it's like a problem. So he got 2 girls in the car. I'm like, yo, where am I fit my equipment at? He started throwing my stuff in. I cursing everybody. I cursed all the girls out in the car. Get out! Get out! You know, and the whole thing.
Groovy Chill worked with the Hudlin brothers for about a year. The movie took about 3 years to get produced and finally come out under New Line Cinema. According to the group, they would go with the Hudlin brothers to different studios to act out the scenes and pitch the script, till it finally got picked up. During that time, the music career was at a standstill, and Uptown Records started to build a new roster with Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, and Father MC, with a new young exec by the name of Sean Combs.
You know, they said, you know, one day we're going to try to make this into a movie. We're going to give you a call.
I wrote it as a movie that Groovy Chill could star in, and if I just had to raise the money myself and I would just work 5 days a week and shoot the movie on the weekend, whatever it would take, I get the movie done that way. So that was the plan. But then once my short films got seen by New Line, and New Line wanted to finance the film, so I didn't have to self-finance, I said, well, look, I developed it as a vehicle for Groovy Chill, and at the time, Groovy Chill didn't really have a breakout record. Andre loved them, but didn't really understand what to do with them as a group.
And the record was mediocre. Hip hop music was a light song. It wasn't top 10. It wasn't a love song. It was, people liked it. It was like, all right, cool. They see we had ability. But it wasn't like, oh, I got to when this song come on, it shut the whole club down.
You know, we got our single hip hop music, maybe played on, you know, light rotation, not heavy rotation, but light, you know. Red Alert is playing it on Hot 97, you know, on the mix, and so you hear it like, oh, Uptown Up.
At the time, Will Smith and Parents Don't Understand hadn't come out yet. So that place for comedic, fun, kind of pop hip-hop, that hadn't really been carved out yet. You had Run DMC and LL over here, you had Public Enemy over here. There was no place for that kind of comedy yet. So, you know, even though they had all this great talent, the label didn't know what to do with them. So they said, well, we need a bigger act to star in the movie. So I'm looking at Video Music Box, and I see all these Kid and Play videos.
And I remember coming home. We were coming home from some function or something. It was me, it was B, it was Chill. I think even Nate might have been there. 2 of our other brothers, you know, Big B, Corey, we call him Crash. And I said, yeah, you know, look, we got this album. We can't get nobody sending us to do shows. No one's calling us. And them Hudlin brothers, they said they was going to get us in the movie.
Well, it's about that time for us to get off. So cut the rattle, yo, get set in your saddle. Mount your horse, the countdown begun. The Groovy Chill surprise. You don't see none all of a sudden. The curtain rise. Groove and I take a step to the podium. The crowd is in the uproar, sheer pandemonium. Girlies going, and all the brothers going. Hey, yo, I looked at B, gave an art. Yo, let the beat flow. It ain't nothing like it. Nowhere. You like it 'cause you take notes, you can quote from the day that we start. We had a boat, took it over, stand true to the art. Check out our groove so smooth that move your feet. Thank the man called Grand Chief and Command of the Beat. As for the lyrics, they be kicking from beginning to end. Groovy Chill and I in charge of writing, pushing the pen. In the past, we live and we learn. If it ain't tough, admit it to yourself, brother. Don't print the stuff. You make some of my beats just enough to get by. BDP makes the cut, the whole jam kicks slide. In the past, they had fast cuts like you was the boss.